Makkedaat 4x4 trail can be found on the farm Rietrivier, which is on the R332, which is the main gravel road which runs through the Baviaanskloof. The trail is circular in format and is approximately 4 kilometers in length, and it will take just over an hour to drive, excluding stops. Permits for the trail, as well as a map, can be obtained from the farm office at Rietrivier from Henriette Blanche. For safety reasons, the trail must be driven in a clockwise direction. The first part of the road is also the main access road to the well-known open cave Alveinsebak. For the 700 meters immediately after the fork to the cave, the track is extremely steep with a gradient of sometimes up to 1 in 4. It is also very rocky and stony, and there is absolutely no place where you can turn back. This is a case of once committed, you have to complete it. Once the track reaches an altitude of 1,000 meters above sea level, it levels off and then makes an abrupt right-hand turn towards the north, and where you almost immediately go into the descent back down to the valley. There are a couple of really sharp hairpin bends on this descent, and one of them will require at least a 3-point turn if you are in a big 4x4. The gradient on the descent is approximately 1 in 6. At the T-junction, you will rejoin one of the local farm roads and join up through the fields back onto the R332 and proceed for a further kilometer along to the office, and your route will be complete. It was not our intention to film this 4x4 route, but one of my passengers did manage to capture some cell phone footage. This route is graded approximately 4 to 5, and it is definitely not to be tackled by an inexperienced driver. The section above the turnoff to the cave is extremely steep, very rocky and stony, and it has a lot of very sharp switchbacks in it. There's also absolutely no place whatsoever where you could turn around and head back down the trail if you chicken out. As can be seen in this clip, the gradient is about as steep as what it possibly can get. No vehicle will likely make it up here without the use of a difflock. Once you reach the crest of the mountain and your adrenaline levels have subsided, you will be able to enjoy fabulous views out over the Baviaanskloof Valley. To prevent tyre damage, we recommend deflation to 1.2 bar. Once the track levels off at an altitude of approximately 1,000 meters above sea level, the gradient becomes quite reasonable, and in fact the trail would be graded only as a grade 2 along this section. At the halfway point along the trail, at the highest point of 1,019 meters, the road makes an abrupt right-hand turn towards the north. The descent begins almost immediately and starts with an extremely sharp hairpin bend, which might require a 3-point turn, as it did in our case. The descent gradient is 1 in 6, which is not quite as dramatic as the climb up. At the time of driving, the track was in poor condition and the speed had to be kept to a very low level. After the 3 hairpin bends have been negotiated, the track descends down to a T-junction at the base of a small hill. Here you must turn right and proceed in an easterly direction back towards the Rietrivier farm. Along the final 2 kilometers, there were some serious washaways which required having to deviate right off the track and through the bush. You have to proceed through 2 farm gates, both of which need to be closed. If you haven't booked to overnight in one of the cave dwellings on the farm, we highly recommend that you do try this. If you still have some time on your hands, we suggest that you take the 3rd turnoff to the right and go and explore the valley, where you will find all the various cave dwellings. An overnight stay in one of the caves is a true Baviaanskloof experience.
Thank you.